Hello everyone. So today we will study about facial nerve, its course and clinical relevance. Okay. So it is the seventh cranial nerve and it is a mixed type of nerve, but mainly the component is motor. So let's start with its origin. So this is a cross section at the level of pons. So two things we need to remember for our facial nerve is this is the sixth nerve nucleus, abducent nucleus, and this is our facial nerve nucleus. This motor nucleus originate from here originates our facial nerve and it hooks around the sixth nerve. Okay, and then it passes laterally and releases out through the pontomedullary junction. So this is how facial nerve originates and is comes out through the pontomedullary junction lateral to our olive. As it comes out, it passes through the internal acoustic meatus. Now this part is our internal acoustic meatus that I have tried to draw. So let's consider this as our petrous bone. Okay, here will be our clinoid processes and sphenoid, and the main part we are going to focus is the posterior slant. So this is our posterior slant and this is our petrous bone. And this is our internal acoustic meatus. Now the facial nerve, as it passes laterally, okay, it passes through the anterior superior portion. As you are seeing, if this is the cranium, it passes through the anterior superior portion of our internal acoustic meatus. Now this internal acoustic meatus is divided into four parts by a transverse slit of bone and a vertical slit of bone. This vertical slit of bone is what is known as Brill's bar. Lateral to it passes the superior vestibular nerve, below passes the inferior vestibular nerve, and here is our cochlear nerve. Along with the inferior vestibular nerve, we here also have a cingular nerve, that is a branch of it. So as this part of the facial nerve between its origin and internal acoustic meatus is what is known as the intracranial part. Now until the facial nerve is going to leave our bony segment, it passes through the parts of temporal bone. So next part is our intratemporal part. Okay, so this intratemporal part first passes within our inner ear. So this part between, as this is a schematic diagram for understanding purpose, so this part in between is our part of inner ear. Okay, facial nerve, this is the part of inner ear, and then the facial nerve enters the middle ear through the medial wall of middle ear, and then it forms the second genu and travels through the posterior wall of middle ear, forming the vertical or the mastoid segment. And this is what is the intratemporal part of our facial nerve. The third part is that which is, so if this is our mastoid, and so it comes out through the stylomastoid foramina and then travels forward, and this third part is what is extracranial part. We'll go into its detail later on. Let's try to understand each part one by one. So this is our intracranial part extending from the facial nucleus up to the internal acoustic meatus. Nothing much about it. Okay, so we'll move on to the next part, that is the intratemporal part. Now this intratemporal part is further divided into many segments. So the part that passes through our internal acoustic meatus is known as meatal segment. So the first part is the meatal segment. This meatal segment is around 8 to 10 mm. Okay, so the part of the facial nerve that is passing through the meatus is 8 to 10 mm. Nothing much about it. After passing through meatus, it will enter our inner ear. Now this part that passes through the inner ear, we need to remember about it that it is known as labyrinthine segment. Now the things we need to remember about it is it is the smallest part. Okay, it is the thinnest part, and it is the most prone part to injury. So this part of facial nerve that is passing through inner ear is known as labyrinthine segment, which is the smallest part, that is 3 to 4 mm. Although I have shown it longer for understanding purposes, but it is the smallest part, it is the thinnest part, and it is most prone to injury. Being thin and within the small compartment, following a viral infection, if this part undergoes edema, it will quickly lead to ischemia, and which will lead to palsy. So this is a part which is most prone to injury. Okay, so where this labyrinthine segment ends, starts our first genu, and where this first genu starts the segment that is known as tympanic segment of the facial nerve. Okay, so the third part is tympanic. So third part is tympanic. After it passes through medial wall of a middle ear, it enters the posterior wall, and that part is known as what is known as vertical part. So within the intratemporal part, we have four parts: the meatal segment, the labyrinthine segment, which is the smallest one, the thinnest one, and most prone to injury. The third part is the horizontal segment or the tympanic segment, and the fourth part is vertical or mastoid segment. Final segment is the extracranial segment. Now this extracranial part, okay, it passes through the stylomastoid foramen and then comes out lying medial to our styloid process, and then passes through the substance of parotid gland. While passing through the substance of parotid gland, it divides into two branches. It divides into temporofacial and cervicofacial branch. This temporofacial further divides the temporal branch, zygomatic branch, buccal branch, and this cervicofacial divides into marginal mandibular and the cervical, which finally gives supply to the facial muscles. So this is supply for facial muscles. Other small branches from this part are, as it comes out through the stylomastoid foramina, it gives a branch to posterior belly of digastric. Okay, along with posterior belly of digastric, it also supplies the stylohyoid muscle. So these are some motor supply, and let's go further detail into these parts. So going on to detail of the tympanic segment. So about the labyrinthine segment, we need to remember that it is thinnest, smallest, and most prone part. Following the infection, it is a part to undergo edema, ischemia, leading to the palsy of facial nerve. So this horizontal segment, that is also known as tympanic segment. Okay, so here are landmarks for it. So antero inferior to this first genu lies the processus cochleariformis. So this is a process of bone, okay, through which turns our tensor palatini muscle. So we need to remember it as a landmark for facial nerve here. Another landmark is this facial nerve lies in the posterior part of medial wall of middle ear between the lateral semicircular canal and oval window. Okay, this is another landmark. Now if we placed a superior wall, that is the tegmen tympani, above it, there is a process of bone that hangs like this above the processus cochleariformis. So here is a bone that hangs like it, and this is known as cog. So this is another landmark for our facial nerve. Other landmark for the vertical segment of the facial nerve are the pyramid, that is a piece of bone that gives origin to the pyramidalis muscle that attaches to the stapes. Another landmark is a fossa that is created by short process of incus, that is fossa incudis. So facial nerve lies medial to this fossa incudis and lateral to the pyramid. So this is what we needed to know about the facial nerve course and its relation.